Welcome to simplerstocks.com. This is Don Kaufman. Rather than just give you a full kind of week in review, I'm just going to call this Volatility Strikes Back on Expiration Friday with the S&Ps down 17 handles. And ladies and gentlemen, it happened all at the close today. But the product I've got to specifically point out, which all week has been kind of plaguing me personally, is the XLF. The XLF, the last 5 trading days, nothing but upside. You know, I was watching the XLF because throughout last week, the week before, I've been very, very bearish on the XLF in the financials over here. I've got bearish positions in JP Morgan. I've got bearish positions specifically to the XLF. And it happened today. The XLF down 1.6%. Sell side activity at the close today was enormous. And I want to point out something very, very specific today and very, very unique that was going on inside of the financials. And kind of the irony here is I'm going to go right to like a 1 day, 1 minute. You're like, what? What are you going to look at like 1 minute charts for inside of the XLF? All right, so I'm literally looking at like 1 minute charts. Early in the day, I was actually pointing out, specific in the XLF, there is some huge activity going on. These large burst trades going on. This can be a very large fund, a hedge fund, somebody, okay, that was ultimately positioning. And I have to tell you, I was looking at these trades throughout the course of the day, and I simply could not figure out for the life of me whether this was a buy side or a sell side trade. They were actually breaking them up into smaller lots, but yeah, these are trades that were 720,000 shares. This is a 1 minute basis where 813,000 shares traded. But if you look at the close, I'm telling you, everything today was about the financials over here. That is, towards the close, 3.3 million shares of the XLF trade. Okay, clearly the sell side activity inside of the financials, because that's what trade was about. The bonds also exploding to the upside. Okay, the ZB specifically up 2 and 11 ticks. If you're not into the bond product, that is A-OK. Okay, you can look at the TLT exploding up. What this really means is bonds go up, interest rates go down. What does it do? Tags the financials. This is what we got to look at. Okay, going forward through the coming week. When I'm talking about the coming week, I'm actually coming out the week starting June 22nd. Keep your eye on the financials. There's a few things that could impact them. First and foremost, forget for a second about Greece. I've heard enough about Greece over here. I'm all Greek out. Okay, no more Greek discussion. At this point, it'll be nothing more than a catalyst. Okay, the market I would look at is the Chinese market. We'll know a lot more. Okay, by Sunday evening, we'll know a lot more about what's going on at the Chinese market. That's what traders have been talking about today. That's what they're telling me all the sell side activity was about. In today's trade was the Chinese markets grew very, very unstable. A lot of traders here in the U.S. said, hey, that can be a catalyst to cause some selling, okay, in the U.S. markets. But the Chinese markets in overnight trade were down 6.4%. A lot of traders said, I don't want to go home with a hefty position. Okay, when the Chinese markets could, crash and burn come their Monday, which is going to be our Sunday. So a lot of sell side activity into the close. And again, if you want to look at the close itself in the S&P futures, when I say there was a lot of sell side activity into the close over here, I'm not kidding. This is the actual bell going off right here. Okay, that is a 1 minute candle inside of the S&Ps. Took them down from 2103 all the way down to 2099 there in just a moment on almost 75,000 contracts. Some of the largest size we've seen in quite some time in a 1 minute candle on the S&Ps. Again, the name of the game over here is what is going to go on with the financials in the coming week over here. This is likely to be what's really going to break markets down. Watch the XLF very, very carefully. early in the week, look for bonds to continue to rally, financials to possibly continue that downward momentum. Everything that's been done in the last few weeks in the XLF gets completely reset. You got to go back quite some time here in the XLF to see action, price action that significant. You got to go back to late March to see a 40 or 50 cent move in a day. Again, that's a 1.6% move in the XLF to the downside. Taken along with it, the S&Ps. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll be back on here, simplerstocks.com, throughout the week of June 22nd. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.